Hello, and welcome back to The Quiet Adult. If you're new here, I'm glad you found your way. Tonight, we're going somewhere slow and still and far away from anything that needs your attention. So, wherever you are right now, in your bed, on the sofa, curled up with a blanket, let yourself settle a little more deeply into that space. You don't need to do anything tonight. You don't need to solve anything, or plan anything, or be anywhere. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Just a little. Take one slow breath in through your nose and breathe out. Good. Tonight, you are arriving at a small mountain cabin. It is evening, late in the year, when the light goes early and the cold comes in from the high places and settles into the valley before dark. You've been traveling for a while. Not a hard journey, just a long one. The kind that makes you ready for stillness. The road up to the cabin is unpaved, a narrow track through the pine forest. The trees, tall and close on either side, their branches holding the last of the afternoon light in thin, pale slivers. The tires move slowly over stones and packed earth. You're not in a hurry. There's nowhere to be after this. Through the windscreen, you can see the sky deepening ahead, that particular shade of blue that comes from the end of gold and the beginning of dark. Not quite navy, not quite purple, somewhere in between that doesn't have a good name. The trees thin, and there it is. The cabin sits in a small clearing at the edge of the tree line, the mountains rising behind it into the early dusk. It is modest, one story, stone walls, a pitched roof with a chimney at one end. A covered porch with two wooden chairs facing the valley below. A light is on inside. Someone has prepared it for you. The windows glow amber in the dimming evening, warm and certain. The kind of light that means warmth and shelter and a place to rest. You park, turn off the engine. The quiet that follows is enormous. Not an empty quiet, a full one. The kind that's made of small sounds layered together so softly they almost become silence. The creak of the cooling engine, the distant movement of wind through the high pines, the tick of a stone settling. You sit for a moment before getting out, just to feel it, the stillness of this place. Then you open the door. The air that meets you is cold and clean, sharp with pine resin and something mineral. The smell of stone and altitude and the particular cleanliness of places that haven't had many people in them. You breathe in slowly. Your breath makes a small cloud and disappears. You gather your things from the back, a bag, a coat already on, and walk across the clearing toward the cabin. The ground is so firm of underfoot, the grass pale and dry at this time of year, patches of bare earth and root. The porch steps creak as you climb them. The door is unlocked. You open it. Warmth. It reaches you before you've even fully crossed the threshold. That particular warmth that comes from a wood fire, which is different from the warmth of a radiator or a heating system. It is alive in a way those aren't. uneven, generous. It comes from one direction and spreads outward, and it feels like something that has been lit just for you. You step inside and close the door behind you. The main room is simple and good. To your left, a stone fireplace with a fire already burning, low and steady, orange and gold. The logs dark at their edges and bright at their hearts. In front of it, a hearth rug and a deep armchair with a wool throw folded over one arm. A small table beside it with a lamp already lit, its shade casting a soft circle of light. The rest of the room is wood, walls paneled in pale pine, floorboards worn smooth with years of use, a ceiling with a low beam running across its center. To the right, a kitchen alcove, a narrow counter, a small stove, a wooden shelf with a few provisions left out, a teapot, a jar of honey, a row of tins with handwritten labels. At the far end of the room, a window the width of the wall looks out toward the mountains. The last light is fading behind their ridge line now, a thin line of rose and copper going. You set your bag down, you hang your coat on the hook beside the door, and then you just stand for a moment in the middle of the room, taking it in. There is something about arriving somewhere like this, something that asks nothing of you. The cabin has been here for years, many winters, many guests, and it will be here after you leave. It doesn't require you to be impressive or efficient or cheerful. It only requires you to be present. You move toward the fire. The warmth increases as you approach. You can feel it on the front of your shins, the back of your hands, your face. You hold your palms out toward it for a moment. The way you greet something, the heat presses gently back against your chin. You lower yourself into this armchair. The cushion receives you. The arms of the chair are wide and solid. You lean back, and the wool throw is soft under your fingertips when you find it, and you pull it to across your legs without really thinking about it. The fire makes its small sounds. The occasional crack and tick of the wood, the soft shifting of settling ash, the low, nearly inaudible murmur of the draw pulling air up through the chimney. Outside, you can hear nothing, or rather, you can hear the shape of outside. Wind moving through the pines, high and slow, more sensation than sound. The vast patience of the mountains beyond the window. You let your eyes rest on the fire. This is something humans have done for as long as there has been humans. Sit before a fire and let the mind go quiet. Something in us knows how to do this. Something old and unhurried recognizes the firelight and relaxes. Let that happen. You watch the flames move. They are never still, never exactly the same shape twice, always shifting, always finding new channels in the wood, new paths upward. And yet, the fire itself is steady, constant, a presence that changes without changing. The log at the back of the grate has burned down to a long red ember. You can see the wood's grain still in it, the rings of its growth now glowing. Your breathing has slowed. You may not have noticed, but it has. After a while, it might be 10 minutes, it might be longer. You decide to make tea. There's no urgency to this. It is simply what comes next to the quiet logic of the evening. You ease yourself out of the armchair and move to the kitchen alcove. The floorboards are soft under your socked feet. You've taken your shoes off without quite deciding to, the way you do in places that feel safe. The kettle is on the shelf beside the stove. It is old, the kind with a handle and a wide base. You feel it at the tap. The water here comes in cold and fast. Mountain water, very clear. You set it on the stove and turn the burner on low. While you wait, you look at the shelf. The tins have paper labels in careful handwriting. One says chamomile, one says lemon verbena, one says mountain blend in slightly larger letters, with a small drawing of a sprig of something underneath. You choose the mountain blend. You find a mug, one of several on a rows of hooks below the shelf. It is plain, ceramic, slightly thick in the way of handmade things, heavy and good in your hands. The kettle begins to murmur. You put the lid back on the tin and stand at the counter, listening to the water heat. There is a particular pleasure in waiting for something you know is coming, a small, patient pleasure that asks nothing of you except presence. The kettle murmurs grows, not a boil yet, just the first movement of heat through the water, the tiny clicks and shifts as molecules wake up. You spoon the dried herbs into a small strainer and rest it over the mug. The kettle begins to whisper, a low sibilance, and then it grows. Just before it reaches a full roll, you lift it beyond from the burner. The water pours in a steady, slow arc, pale gold as it hits the strainer and darkens as the herbs release. A smell rises immediately, something alpine, slightly grassy, a note of something sweet underneath. You settle the kettle down. You wait for the tea to steep. Outside, the mountains are completely dark now. The window reflects the lamp and firelight back at you. The room duplicated in the glass, floating above the invisible valley. The tea is ready. You lift the strainer and set it aside, and then add a small spoon of honey from the jar. You stir it slowly, watching the honey dissolve in a slow spiral. Then you carry the mug back to the armchair. The fire has settled while you were away, the high flames gone, now mostly deep embers with a quieter flame above them, warm and steady. The room is perfectly heated, not too hot, the kind of warmth that asks you to stay. You sit, you wrap both hands around the mug. The heat comes from the ceramic into your palms. You bring the mug close and breathe in the steam, the alpine, the honey smell, warm and mild. You sip. It tastes like exactly this, a mountain cabin, late in the evening, the fire low, the dark full outside. Later, you pull the armchair a little closer to the window. The mountains are invisible now, but you know that they're there. Their presence is still felt, enormous, patient, indifferent in the most peaceful sense of the word. They were here long before you, and they hold that lightly, making no demands of it. The sky, though, the sky has changed. It is extraordinarily clear tonight. Mountain air at altitude does this, strips out the haze and humidity that softens the stars at lower elevations. What you are looking at now is a sky that has not been filtered. The stars are not points so much as presences. Some are bright enough to cast a faint impression of light, and behind them, in the spaces between, countless more dimmer ones, and behind those, a soft wash of the Milky Way arcing across the upper portion of the window. You find yourself not thinking about anything in particular. This is a rare thing in most lives. The mind tends to fill any available space, but here, in this light, looking at the sky, something eases. The usual current of thoughts slow to almost nothing. Not because you're trying, simply because there's something here that's larger than a thought, and thought seems to understand that and stands aside. A single star, very bright, low in the window to the left, pulses very slightly, not blinking exactly, more like breathing, the atmosphere doing its work between you and the light. You breathe in, you breathe out. The stars breathe with you. You notice the mark in your hands have cooled. You don't mind, it is still warm enough. The fire behind you makes one soft pop, a small log settling, and then returns to its steady murmur. You think of nothing in particular. You think of the drive up through the pines and how the light had been for the trees. You think of the smell of the air when you stepped out of the car. You think of nothing. The mountains are out there, enormous and patient, holding the sky. You are here, inside, warm, small. That is not a bad thing. There's comfort in smallness that people don't talk about enough. The comfort of being contained, of being one thing in one place, not required to be everywhere at once. You set the empty mug on the floor beside the chair. You pull the wool throw up higher across your lap. There's no clock in this room. There may be one somewhere, but you haven't noticed it, and not noticing it feels intentional. Time here moves by the fire and the sky and the body's own quiet signals, and your body's beginning to give them. The heaviness has been building up slowly in your limbs all evening. The way your eyes want to rest a little longer between blinks, the warmth of the room inside you now, not just around you. You unfold yourself from the armchair and stand slowly. You add one more log to the fire, not to build it up, just to let it go slowly through the night, like a companion keeping watch while you sleep. You settle it carefully with the iron poker and watch it catch, the edges brightening, the bark curling, and releasing a thin thread of smoke before the new flame finds its footing. You rinse the mug at the kitchen tap, leave it to the draining board. The bathroom is small and clean, with a deep window that looks out onto the side of the mountain. Cold light through frosted glass. You wash your face. The water cold, the towel warm from the rail above the small radiator, and you looked at yourself in the mirror for a moment, unhurried. The face that looks back is tired in a good way, the kind of tired that is the end of something, the kind that knows rest is close. The bedroom is at the back of the cabin, one door, which you push open quietly, as if the room is already sleeping. The bed is large and well made, white linen, slightly rough to the touch, mountain linens, thick and clean. A heavy wool blanket folded at the foot, two pillows, wide and soft. The window in this room faces the dark mountainside. Through it, very faintly, you can hear the wind in the high pines, a slow circling sound, gentle. You close the curtains, heavy dark fabric, and the room becomes its own small world. Only the faint outline of the curtain edges, the soft darkness. You sit on the edge of the bed. The mattress receives you, firm at first, then giving, shaped by years of different bodies resting in exactly this way. You lie back. The pillow is cool on one side, and you turn it, find the cool side, and settle your head into it. The blanket. You pulled it up, and it is heavy in the best way, the kind of weight that means something, that presses gently against your chest and legs and says, "You are here, you are contained, you can stop now." The ceiling above you is dark timber. You can just make out the grain of it. From somewhere outside, distant low, the wind moves through the trees. This is the part of the night there where there is nothing to do, not the part before sleep where the mind tries to stay useful, tries to hold on to the day, tries to carry something forward. That part is over. This is the later part, the part where the body has already decided and the mind is only catching up. Your feet are warm, your legs are heavy, the blanket presses gently, and beneath it, your body is still. Outside, the pines are moving very slowly. The wind through the high branches is far away and low. It is the sound of the mountain breathing, in and out, in and out, in, out. There is a fire in the other room, burning low, keeping the cabin warm while you rest. You don't need to tend to it. It will do its work without you. The mountain is there, outside, in the dark, vast and steady and indifferent in the most peaceful way. It doesn't need you to be anything. It simply is there, and you are simply here. Let your thoughts come and go like the wind through the pines. You don't have to hold on to them. You don't have to follow them. Let them come. Let them drift past. Let them go. You are in a cabin in the mountains. The air is clean. The fire is warm. The dark is soft. Let your eyes stay closed. Let your breathing go its own way now. You don't need to guide it. The wind in the pines, the far, faint creak of the cabin settling in the cold, the absolute stillness of the mountains. Let the weight of the blanket be the weight of the whole evening, the drive, The fire, the tea, the stars, pressing gently down, saying, "You are here, and this is enough, and you can rest now." You are drifting, not falling, drifting, the way a leaf drifts on still water, slow, unhurried, moving without effort. The mountain is patient with you. The night is long. There's nowhere you need to be before morning. Let your thoughts go quiet. Let the wind take them. You are warm. You are still. You are safe. Sleep is close. It has been here all along, waiting quietly at the edge of this evening. And it is gentle. And it is yours. The fire breathes in the other room. The mountain breathes outside. And you breathe here in the dark, slow and easy. And the cabin holds you. And the night holds the cabin. And the mountain holds the night. Let go. Let go. Good night.